We've had a lot of wrestling games over the years. Some have been really great, like No Mercy, and some have just been absolutely horror trash, like 2K20. But I started going back and I started actually playing WWE 2K19. Today on the show, I'm going to be giving you 5 things that are still awesome and great about 2K19. A little bit of retrospective, a little bit of then versus now. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assemble. I'm Matt. Good to see you and good to have you here on the show. I'm excited. We're going to talk a little more wrestling today, and we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to talk about what we used to have and what used to be so good about WWE 2K19. This game was not perfect by any means. I didn't think it was the greatest game in the world, the greatest wrestling experience I've ever had. However, in retrospective, as I look back to what we have now and when I look at what was going on back then, just a few short years ago, 2K19 is still today a very, very solid wrestling game and one that I still continue to play. The first thing I want to highlight to all of you is going to be the roster. Going back and playing it even recently, I noticed just how big and how in depth this entire roster was. And especially when you frame it to what's going on today. We're very, very worried about 2K22 and how the roster is seemingly shrinking more and more and more as every single day passes, and we have no information about the game at this point. But 2K19 is kind of special right now because it's in an interesting place where so many talents today have moved on and they've gone on to other promotions like AEW. We see stars like Christian and Big Show, Mark Henry. We see the likes of Andrade as well, possibly Aleister Black, who knows? But we have so many of these stars that are in 2K19 that we now will not get the opportunity to play in the newest video game coming from 2K. It's really, really awesome to go back and be able to actually recreate and build out my own AEW Dynamite, or to be able to really run my universe the way I want to with such a huge roster of over 200 stars. With the roster, what I really like is that it doesn't pull what 2K20 pulled by having so many alternative attires. Yes, we have different slots for like Triple H, and you're going to get different versions of him over the years. But when you look at something like 2K20, they took it to the extreme where you were getting Charlotte Flair 5 different times and Bayley, and it was getting ridiculous with all of these slots they were taking up. The roster though in 2K19 is still playable today. It's still relevant, and it really, really works, especially as we're seeing rosters actually shrink more and more. You want to be able to build out 205 Live, you really can do it to its fullest extent in 2K19. If you want to go on the route of Legends, create some Raw as War moments from the 90s, you have all of those options available. The other thing is going to be the actual gameplay. It's much smoother experience in 2K19 than obviously what 2K20 was doing, because good lord, garbage fire. But with the other games in the 2K series that are going for such a big simulation mode and play of all of this, the gameplay was tight in 2K19. It felt smooth. It actually felt like it was going at a faster pace that year and not trying to slow it down to a crawl where it was overly simulating the events. It felt like you could get into matches quicker. It was a more seamless experience. And at the same token, I'll speak on graphics very quickly. As I've gone back now and started playing it on my Series X, I have auto HDR built in there and it's enabled. The load times are quick and I'm getting into the game a lot faster. It's making it for a better experience that's smooth. And for the gameplay itself, it's very tight with the controls. They didn't redo all of the controls. They have hit this absolute sweet spot when it comes to 2K19. Now, how can we talk about this game without mentioning customization? And we're talking about create a wrestler in the communities. We're talking about create a championship, create an arena. All of it in there is so in-depth and well done. The community creation suite that is available still to this day, 2K19 is still live, has some of the best creations out there. You want to be able to put CM Punk or the NWO in there, or all of the alternative attires, or the brand new versions of Roman Reigns that are out. Get the Tribal Chief version. All of those things are still living, breathing today. And the creators on there do such an impeccable job of making sure this is accurate, and it looks great. Even down to things like custom Money in the Bank championships for both all of my brands and the women's and the men's divisions. Being able to customize those briefcases for my superstars. If I want an Adam Cole Bebe briefcase, I can totally do that. It gives you one more layer of depth within the creation suite. It makes it more fun and more enjoyable, and it keeps me coming back for more just based off of what people create online. Now, the next thing up is something that wasn't huge on my list for a big favorite, but it still sticks out as being pretty good feature for this game, especially when you look at years past, and that's the showcase mode. We had Daniel Bryan's full showcase mode put into this title, and I have to say that I really did enjoy it even as I went back and tried it again. Daniel Bryan's storyline is really highlighting a lot of his key moments within his career. And the moments that they were highlighting, it's not like they were from 20 years ago or 30 years ago when we're looking at Hulk Hogan or Austin, things like that. But as I went back, I really did enjoy myself because they are still great highlighted moments with him versus the Authority, the Yes Movement, all of these big moments in his career that I really enjoyed, and that I actively watched the product while he was going through all of this. It's short, it's concise, it's to the point. It's great storytelling beats in there, and I enjoy when they build out showcase mode in this manner. Not having something that is drawn out, that's impossible to beat, that I don't care about, or the way they went down with 2K20 and everything was glitched out. It was still on the heels of working as a good solid mode that I thoroughly enjoyed. Now, we talked about all of the customization that we have in this game, but the last thing that I will mention is going to be the actual ease of use and how clean the menu is and how you can actually navigate through this game. Sometimes it's over cumbersome and it's overly detailed, and with sports franchises specifically, too many menus, too many sub-menus, and it just becomes a little silly with how much they're trying to do and stuff in there. With 2K19, I really appreciate the aesthetics and the way they went with it. It's clean to the point, it's bright as all hell. You will need to dim your TV if you are going to watch this thing, because wow, that loading screen and the main menu is bright. But it's clean tileized, it's able to swipe between the different sub-menus. It made for a really easy experience to be able to jump in and play wherever you want. Being able to go in and customize those matches too. Again, all of those menu options were in there. Everything that I wanted to be able to tweak, from my player to my career to universe. I loved how everything was laid out, and that I didn't feel like I was jumping through hoops or that there was loading involved. And even down to the actual poses of the superstars, I appreciated versus that of 2K20, where everyone was generic, looked the same. They actually put a little bit of detail and attention to even into the actual wrestlers for their poses at the menu screen, at the loading screen. Music within there too, of even talking about the menu and those aesthetics too. At first, I wasn't huge on the soundtrack that they put in, but they were all handpicked and crafted by picking out songs, playlists, built by the superstars themselves, and it's grown on me over time, and I actually do thoroughly enjoy when I do turn this on and being able to customize the jukebox the way I like. And like I said, being able to still play this thing today in 2021 as we wait for 2K22, there's a lot happening with WWE right now where so many stars are being let go and the roster is getting smaller and smaller. Vince is gonna call guys up from NXT. Who knows what it's going to look like as we get closer to this game launching. What's great is being able to go back and being able to still have a title like 2K19 at our disposal to be able to play. If you want to be able to have a good wrestling experience, something that is not going to be buggy and broken, and it's still going to feel new enough that the graphics on it still hold up today, especially when you're on a brand new console. It still feels like the frame rates are cleaned up, as well as just the graphics still looks good, the lighting looks good, and a little bit of HDR in there really makes things pop. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what are some of your favorite WWE 2K games, wrestling games that you love, that you're really fond of? Are you still playing 2K19 over 2K20? And if you want to see any other episodes like this covered on the show, let me know in the comments below. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here on Assemble. I'm Matt. If you can, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers as well. So if that is your thing, do me a favor and hit the subscription button, because then you get all the updated content that we do every single week here on the show. Thank you as always for watching. And as always, thank you guys for assembling with us. See ya!